What is going on, fitness coaches? Welcome to another episode of the Change Lives Make Money Online Trainer Podcast. It's your boy, Brian Mark. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the progression from $0 to $100,000 per month. So if you're new to the podcast, welcome. What we do here is we teach online personal trainers how to start and scale online coaching businesses. And we have clients that are making, that are just getting started at $0. We also have clients that are making $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 per month. So I figured I would walk you guys through the progression from $0 to $100,000 a month in this podcast episode. I'm going to break down for you guys what level you're currently at and then what you need to focus on at that level in order to basically make the most of your business and scale and get to the next fucking level. So without further ado, we're going to get right into it. And we're going to talk about the progression from $0 to $100,000 per month. So the first phase of business that we're going to talk about is this like $0 to $10,000 range, right? This is the phase of the business where you're basically learning how to become an online coach. This is the phase of the business where when you first start, you have no idea how to set up your profile. You don't know what content you need to be posting. You don't know how to generate leads. You don't know how to book sales calls. This is basically like the beginner stage of having an online coaching business. Now, from $0 to $10,000 a month, and then we'll talk about everything else. The most important thing from $0 to $10,000 a month, the single most important thing is content. It is the single most important thing. Is content. And when I say content, it's like you need to make sure that you are building your audience on a regular basis. Now, this seems like a very fucking simple thing to say, but a lot of you guys are just posting with no intention and you're just posting content hoping you're getting clients without actually having a methodical approach for how you're going at content creation. And instead of spending more time really dialing in your scripting, your videos, your editing, your lighting, the hooks that you're saying, you're just putting out the same shit every week. And when it doesn't hit, you're like, oh, my business isn't growing. It's like, it's hard to grow a business when you don't have an audience. So when you have an audience, everything is easy. When you don't have an audience, everything is hard. Content is the single most important thing you should focus on if you're under $10,000 a month. Because if you're getting 500 views in all your reels, it's really fucking hard to generate enough sales opportunities to be able to build a business that will sustain you and your family. So under $10,000 a month, the single most important thing you need to focus on is content. It's the number one. It's the most important. I know you've probably heard this 100 fucking times. Stop looking for different podcast answers and like different solutions to the problem that like the problem is you don't have an audience. And if you don't have an audience, everything else in your business is going to be fucking hard. You're going to be door-to-door sales knocking for your sales. It's not a fun experience. So focus on building an audience so you don't have that problem. Once you solve the content problem, it's really easy to scale, but that's the first thing. So 0 to 10K is content. However, 0 to 10K is also lead gen because as you're posting content and people are reaching out to you, like you need to know how to turn those sales opportunities, those people that are reaching out, asking about coaching, you need to know how to turn those people into sales opportunities, AKA booking a call on the calendar. 0 to 10K a month is also sales, right? So like if you post a reel, somebody reaches out, you do lead gen, you book a sales call with them, you need to get on the fitness consultation and you need to collect money on the fucking phone. A lot of you guys aren't doing that. And you need to get good at the process of posting content, generating the lead, getting on the sales call, closing the client. And the last part of $0 to $10,000 a month is coaching, right? When somebody signs up for your coaching program, are you actually delivering on the promise that you sign on the phone? Which means you're not just doing a training and a nutrition plan. You're also building a community. You're making sure that they're onboarding properly. They're getting quick wins right away. They feel fucking good because they signed up. So that process of posting content, generating leads, booking sales calls, and coaching your clients is how you get to $10,000 a month. It's actually that simple. There's no like magic tricks around it. There's like everything that we basically teach you guys in the CLA is designed to do that. Create better content, generate leads better, sell better, coach better. All of that gets you to $10,000 a month. That's all you need. You don't need ads. You don't need a funnel. You don't need a website. You don't need anything other than your fucking social media profile, posting content, generating leads, booking sales opportunities, closing clients, and then coaching them once you have them. Now, getting from $10,000 to $25,000 a month is a little bit of a different story. Now, there's two different ways to approach this, and I'm going to talk about both of the ways, and then you can take what's useful for you and discard what's not. I believe that you can actually hit $25,000 a month without hiring anybody as a one-man show. And a lot of people choose this route, and I actually don't fully understand why, because getting to $25,000 a month as a one-man show, although that's a flex and that's cool that you get to do everything on your own, you're basically working 8 to 12 hours a day to do that. Because when you start getting to $10 to $15 to $20,000 a month, that means you're going to have 50 clients that you're serving, which means you've got 50 check-ins to do on a weekly basis. That by itself is going to take you 1 to 2 days. Plus, you have to come up with all of your own content ideas and write your scripts and film and record and edit. Plus, you have to make sure that all of your clients are actually getting their clients' questions answered on a regular basis. Plus, you have to think about generating your own leads so you can book sales calls. Plus, you have to get on your own sales calls So like $10,000 to $25,000 a month. There's a lot of people that get stuck at this range because they're trying to do everything themselves. And I get a lot of people that reach out. They're like, I just don't have the time, right? I don't have the time to scale. I don't have the time. I'm serving too many clients. I don't have time to post content. Or when I do post content, I'm just throwing shit out there. I don't send DMs because I don't have the time to send DMs. So I'm just waiting on inbounds. Inbounds have slowed down. I'm not really sure what to do, how to scale, how to take the next level, blah, blah, blah. 10 to 25K a month is where a lot of people stay stuck because they try to do it as a one-man show. And although you can do it as a one-man show from $10,000 to $25,000 a month, that's not what I'd recommend, okay? Because you're basically setting your business up to be a prison, meaning that the only way to scale is by working more hours. I don't know about you, but I got into entrepreneurship for the idea of freedom, AKA I wanted more money, but I also wanted more time to be able to do some of the things that I want to do. And so if I'm trapped in my business because I have to work on my business because I'm like required to be there for 12 hours a day in order for it to grow, I don't have a business, I have a prison. So you can get to $25,000 a month by yourself. I wouldn't recommend it. What I would recommend is that when you are at $10,000 to $25,000 a month, the three main things that you focus on is content, sales, and coaching. That's your job. Content, sales, and coaching. You're the one that's responsible for posting the content, coming up with the ideas. You're the one that's responsible for getting on the sales calls and closing the deals. And you've got some responsibilities in coaching as well. However, when you're at $10,000 to $25,000 a month, these are the three hires that you should make. First is somebody to generate your leads for you. We call this a virtual assistant. You can get a virtual assistant from Honduras that costs you $650 to $1,000 a month. Plus, you're going to pay them out commissions. And their job is to work in your account 8 to 10 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week to book you sales calls. That's the first hire that I'd make. Second is I'd hire a community manager. A community manager is going to be somebody that's inside of your Facebook container or your Trainerize group or your Everfit, whatever platform you have. And they're going to be responsible for keeping the community engaged. They're going to be responsible for the posts in the community. They're going to be responsible for replying to people in your community for you. They're basically going to make sure that your clients are getting an amazing experience inside of the coaching container. The third hire that I recommend that you guys make is an assistant coach. An assistant coach is somebody that's going to basically help you out with some of the back end stuff, like the programming, the meal plans, the day-to-day messaging, as well as, take some of the check-ins off your plate in some situations and circumstances. So this way of scaling is actually a more effective way because all three of those hires, the lead gen specialist, the community manager, and the assistant coach, are going to run you about, like, for all three of them combined, $2,500 to $3,500 a month at this level with how we teach, which means if you make $25,000 a month, what's going to happen is you're going to pay $2,500 to these assistants. That means you're going to pocket $22,500. And not only that, this is the best part, you've got all this extra time back because you don't have to spend time in your DMs. You don't have to spend as much time with your clients, and you don't have to spend as much time in your group, which means that you're not only pocketing more money, but you also have more free time. This is how my clients are scaling to $25,000 to $30,000 a month without sacrificing their time. Is they got these three hires: lead gen specialist, community manager, assistant coach. Cool. So what does it take to go from $25,000 to $50,000 a month? Let's talk about that transition. So you've got the lead gen specialist, you got the community manager, you got the assistant coaches. You want to scale. What do? This is what you need to focus on at 25 to 50,000. Okay. So your responsibilities as a leader are going to be content, sales, coaching, and operations. Content, sales, coaching, and operations. Once you hit $25,000 to $50,000 a month, like, this is where, with your content strategy, like, if you haven't figured out how to break through the algorithm and go viral, the responsible thing here is to start turning on some ads. And so the reason I'd recommend starting to turn on some ads at this point is because if you're only relying on organic marketing to bring you leads, that means sometimes your content takes off and you got tons of leads. Sometimes it doesn't take off and you got no leads, and you're basically hoping and praying that Instagram pushes you into the algorithm. So the responsible thing to do is, once you're at 25 to 50K, you start turning on ads. There's two different ads that I get my clients to run. I get them to run boosted posts, meaning we specifically create a post that we are designing with the intention of boosting it to get in front of more people. The second is directed DM ads. This basically means we're running an ad that's retargeting all the people that are watching our videos, and we're getting people to send us a DM if they're interested in coaching. Now, at the 25 to 50K range, typically speaking, most of my clients are still doing their own sales. There are some people that outsource sales at this point in one of two ways. Number one, they either outsource by doing sell by chat, and they're, instead of getting on a call, they send a video. Number two is they outsource by hiring phone closers. At 25 to 50K a month, though, you can't really hire a good phone closer at that level without filling their calendar. Like, at 25 to 50K a month, you're not going to fill a phone closer's calendar, which means you're not going to get somebody that's really good, because the really good phone closers are going to go to the opportunities where they can get full calendars. So at 25 to 50K, I teach my clients how to use agencies. So I've got a couple connections inside of my coaching program where there's like an agency that will take all your sales calls for you, and then they get a 15% commission of every sale that they close, the cash collected. So some of my clients do that. Some of my clients do sell by chat. Some of my clients at 25K to 50K are still taking their own sales calls. At this point, you're still also doing the coaching. That's one thing that you can't really fully source yourself out of because you're the fucking figure. When I say doing some of the coaching, what I mean though is you're starting to remove yourself from the day-to-day stuff, and you're more so like leading the actual culture and the community. So you're the one hosting the live calls. You're the one that's like hosting the trainings, and it's less time on your end. You get a lot of assistance on the back end with the check-ins, the meal plans, the programs, the day-to-day messages, etc. But that's your job, is like the coaching. And then at 25 to 50K, you also need to be very focused on the operations of the business. Because a lot of people, what they do in business is they just put together this fucking mom and pop shop, and they're literally like selling clients and making money, whatever. And then they get to a certain level and they stay stuck there, and they have no idea why they're stuck, but they also have no idea what their fucking numbers are. But if you don't know your numbers in your business, like how many sales opportunities are you generating? How many of those are closing? What's your cash collected per month, your new cash collected? What's your retention rate? What's your churn rate? How many cancellations did you have last month? So like knowing all the numbers in your business so that you can make an educated decision, you can make an educated decision on what the next bottleneck to solve is in your business is super fucking important. Otherwise, you'll just go around your business trying to solve problems that might not even be issues. Like you'll get 2 clients drop off your program. You'll be like, my retention's fucked. But if you actually look at the numbers, you've got a 95% retention rate. And this was just that, like, there's 2 people that ended up coming in at this one point that made you feel like your retention suffers. But unless you actually know what your numbers are, you don't know whether or not your retention's good or bad. And so when you're at 25 to 50K a month, like this is where you need to start getting really diligent with your numbers, because I don't help my clients make decisions on what they should do with their business until I know what the numbers are in their business. Once I identify what the numbers are in their business and I figure out like, okay, I can tell you're booking a lot of sales calls, but the show up rate's really low. We need to fix your nurture process. That basically means what happens after the call gets booked. So we're going to spend our next 2 weeks making sure that we're solving the nurture issue so you get more people to show up to your sales calls. Because if you can take your show up rate from 30% to 60%, that one move doubles the amount of sales that you're going to make, because that one move will double the amount of opportunities you get. So that's 25 to 50K, all right, is content, sales, coaching, and operations. Now, the people that you'll have working for you in your business, you'll have 2 lead gen specialists. So you're going to have the ideal schedule is that you've got somebody covering your account 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. 7 days a week. But at this level, you don't really need that 7 days a week. You need it for like at least 6 days a week. So we're going to get somebody in the morning from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., then somebody in the afternoon from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. And all they're doing all day is generating sales opportunities for you. That's 25 to 50K. You're also going to have 2 assistant coaches at this level. Each assistant coach is going to be capable of handling about 50 clients, which is when you think about it, that's your cap, right? Like when people start getting 50 to 75 clients as an online trainer, that's where it starts to get a little bit confusing. So your assistant coaches are going to be able to handle 50 clients each. You're going to have 2 of them. You're also going to have a community manager as well. And the community manager has the same job at the previous level. Their job is to make sure that your clients stay engaged. Cool. Now to go from 50K to $100,000 a month is a completely different level. It's a completely different transition. And so from 50K to $100,000 a month, these are the 3 things that are the most important for you as the leader. Content is always going to be number 1 because you're the fucking marketer. If you try to outsource your content, it's not going to do well. Content's number 1. Leadership is number 2. And we're going to talk about why in a second. And coaching is number 3. Again, you're the figurehead of the business. If you're not coaching inside of your own container, people aren't going to continue to work with you. The reason they came to you in the first place is they found your social media. They're going to want to hear from you on some level. Even if it's only 1 or 2 coaching calls a week, you still need to be doing some coaching in your container. Now, at this level, you're going to have an operations manager or an executive assistant. Now, the reason you need to have that at this level from 50 to 100K is when you're making that type of money, like this is where you need to make sure that like the only thing you're spending time on are revenue generating activities. Everything else that you're doing in your business that isn't a revenue generating opportunity needs to get outsourced because it's taking away money that you could be making in your business. So I outsource everything that doesn't generate me revenue. I outsource like the back end communication. I outsource the day-to-day checking in on failed payments. I outsource anything that doesn't require me and my thought process, like anything that is like an automated tasks that like anyone could do, I outsource because I want to spend my time in the business on things that I know are going to generate the business revenue, which is content, leadership, and coaching. You're also going to have 3 lead gen specialists at this level. So at this level, you're going to have somebody that's, 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. and then 1 p.m. to 10 to 11 p.m. Then you're going to have somebody that's covering you on the weekends as well. So on the weekends, you're going to have coverage from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Now you're going to have somebody in your account 7 days a week being able to take sales opportunities and turn them into phone calls, so that you're going to have 3 lead gen specialists. At this level, you're also going to have at least 3 assistant coaches. Again, when you have assistant coaches, basically each one of them is going to be about 50 each, is going to be their cap. So you'll have 3 assistant coaches and you'll have 50 of your own clients or 30 of your own clients, whatever you want. That way, at this level, you've got about 200 clients to be making $50,000 to $100,000 a month. And a lot of the work is being fulfilled by your assistant coaches. You're also going to have a community manager at this level, somebody to help you manage your group. And at 50 to 100,000, you absolutely need to have somebody to do your sales for you. So you need to have a phone closer. I think if you don't have a phone closer at this level, 50 to 100K, you're shooting yourself in the foot. There are some of my coaches that just do sell by chat and they're just converting over chat. And we do teach that inside of the container. But my recommendation, if you want to build a business that like has a higher dollar amount of cash collected, then I would recommend that you have a phone closer at this level. Cool. Now, why is leadership the most important at this level? Well, you've basically got different departments in your business that you as the leader need to be able to see all of, right? So your job as the leader of the company is to be basically the visionary and to help people see the problems. So you're going to have somebody that's in operations that's responsible for tracking the KPIs and optimizing them. So you need to make sure that you're training your operations manager effectively so that they know how to do their job better. You also need to teach your operations manager how to identify bottlenecks in the business so that they can bring those bottlenecks to you and you can address them. The lead gen specialist, you're going to have 3 people working in your account. And so you need to make sure that you have a really defined and finite training process. You can teach them exactly how you want them to communicate and exactly what you want them to do so that they know how to handle your prospects properly. The assistant coaches is the same thing. You can't just have 3 assistant coaches that have 50 clients each and you're not leading them effectively and teaching them exactly what you want from them. Otherwise, you're going to have 150 clients that they're serving that are getting a shitty experience because you're not leading properly. The community manager, same thing, phone closer especially. In order to fully successfully outsource your sales calls and have them be done by somebody else, you need to make sure that you've done a great job at training a phone closer on how to communicate like you so that your prospects feel good on the phone, because that's the first touch point with your business. When somebody gets on the phone with one of your closers, that's the first touch points with your business. And if they don't have a good experience, they ain't coming back. And there's nothing you can do about that. So leadership at this level is one of the most important things that's going to get you to the next level. My definition of leadership is your ability to not only lay out exactly what you need from your team, but to motivate them to do better, to have disciplinary procedures in place for them when they don't do better, and to basically hold the line and let people know what's expected from them on a day-to-day basis so that the standard in the company never dips, even if you're not there. So that's leadership. That's going to go get you from 50K to 100K. Now, from 100K to 200K is a little bit of a different story. I'm going to briefly touch on it, but I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I hate to say this, but like the amount of people that are willing to go through the growing pain to get to this level is very small. Because again, if we go back to 10 to 25K, most people are like, oh, I just want to be a one-man show. It's a lot less stress to be a one-man show. So like in order to go to the next level, you need to be willing to learn a completely different set of skills, having people work for you, like being responsible for employees on your team, being responsible for standards on your team when you're not the one doing the work, learning how to have hard conversations with employees when they're not doing their job properly. Like all of this stuff is required in order to get to the next level. So 100K to 200K is content, leadership, and coaching. At this point, you fully outsource yourself into the sales process. You shouldn't be doing them at all. You've got an operations manager or an executive assistant. Both of them can serve similar purposes. You've got 4 lead gen specialists. At this point, you've got coverage in your account from 5 a.m. till midnight, 7 days a week. You've got 4 assistant coaches. Each one of them have at least 50 clients. You've got a community manager, and you've got 2 phone closers, which means you're taking sales calls from like 8 a.m. all the way till 8 p.m., 5 to 6 days a week. And that's 100 to 200K. Now, there are different hires that can go into businesses depending on where the business is at. Like I've got some of my clients as an example. One of my clients has 1.1 million followers. They actually have 8 lead gen specialists because they have the volume for that, right? But I think that, you know, it's, I would say bare minimum at $100,000 to $200,000 a month, you've got 4. So that's it. That's the progression from $0 to $100,000 per month. Guys, we've been doing this for the last 7 years at this point. There's not another business coaching program on the internet that has the level of detail that we have inside of our container for getting you through these progressions. So it doesn't matter if you're at 0 to 10K, we can get you there. If you're at 10 to 25K and you want to get to the next level, we can get you there. If you're making 25K and you want to make 50K, we can get you there. If you're making 50K and you want to make 100K, we can get you there. If you're making 100 and you want to get to 200, we can get you there. So if you're interested in working with me and my team to progress through these levels, send me a DM on Instagram that says 10K. We'll have a conversation about your business. We'll figure out exactly what your income's at right now. And then we'll identify what I believe to be the biggest bottleneck. And then we will come up with a game plan to solve that problem. So on Instagram, DM me at TheRealBrianMark, 10K, and I'll reach out to you to see if I can help. Peace. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. Hopefully you got some value. If you did, and you want to learn more about how me and my team can help you scale your online fitness business to $10,000 a month, DM me 10K on Instagram at TheRealBrianMark for more information, and I'll reach out to you to see if I can help you grow an online coaching business.